What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you've seen in some of the previous clips, I went on a little bit of a Facebook marketplace adventure. I was scrolling through Facebook the other night, you know, and I can't help myself. I have things in my head, and I think everybody does, of like, if I find a good deal on that, I will buy it. An XJ Jeep or just a Jeep Cherokee in this body style, any Jeep really, something to go off-roading with, has always just been kind of on that list. I've been kind of looking at four-seater RZRs. They're like 20 grand, absolutely crazy. And literally, in order to drive a four-seat RZR on a trail, you have to drive it on a Jeep trail. So instead of spending $20,000 on a four-seat RZR, why don't you buy a $1,400 Facebook Marketplace Jeep? So I got this thing for a crazy deal. It was actually posted for $900. And in order to kind of, you know, I seen it after 20 minutes. In order to establish myself as the dominant buyer, the first thing in the text was $1,400. I will come get it tonight, cash in hand, and a trailer. He got over 75 messages within the first hour, and obviously mine stood out a little bit more. I was offering $500 more. So this thing has a lot of really cool parts on it. It actually runs and drives. We had a little bit of an issue with it when we were trying to load it up at his house, where we had to winch it on the trailer. But I want to show you guys how much money is actually in this Jeep and how good of a deal I actually got. So it's actually raining here in Colorado, so we're gonna go ahead, unload this thing, pull it in the shop, and then I guess we'll let you guys check this thing out. I'm excited to get into it. So as you can tell, this thing is not stock. It has a 6-inch BDS lift kit, 35-inch tires with some like Pro Comp beadlock looking things. I don't think they're actually fully beadlocks. It actually has a Dana 44 front end or front axle, and it has these locking hubs right there, which I guess this is kind of rare. I don't know anything about Jeeps, but the other thing, I have a buddy, or actually the guy who won the R32 GTR. His name is Carnage Fabrication on Instagram, and he does a lot of off-roading. He knows a lot of friends with Jeeps and stuff like that. So he actually messaged me as soon as we kind of posted a little thing of this thing, and he's like, dude, he's like, send me some pictures, I'll tell you what axles and all kinds of stuff is in it. Also in the rear, it has a Ford 9-inch, and overall the chassis is fairly clean, has some hail damage, has 169,000 miles on it, but it has a Corbeau seat. It has some rock sliders, and even though this thing was kind of a crawler, it looks in decent shape. Like, it looks like it's been wheeled, but it hasn't been like rolled over, tipped over, any of the other stuff. Also, take a look at that. Look at that Ranger right there. It'd be a shame if somebody jumped a Ranger off a cliff. That's a good looking Jeep. Look at it. Like, it looks decent. So the crazy thing is, the battery in this thing is from 2012. So it expired in 2012. So they probably stopped driving it maybe before or shortly after. So this thing's pretty much been sitting for probably 10 or 12 years. The tires are literally brand new as far as tread depth. It still has like the nipples and stuff on the tires, but they're old. Where's the date code on them? 2009. So they probably put the tires on it and a battery in 2009. Look at that, 11 of 2012, and maybe stopped driving it then. So yeah, we had a little bit of a hesitation issue with it when we were sitting there doing paperwork, and it was idling, and it was idling for like 10 minutes, and then I was like, all right, cool. Like, we literally shut his little folder. We're getting ready to like close the hood and back it up on the trailer. It was like just died. Now it starts and idles just fine, but we let it run a little bit yesterday, and it basically did the same thing where it idles and it dies. So I have a fresh battery. We have some more fuel. I tried to get a fuel filter for it today, but it's actually like a filter slash regulator that is in the tank on top of the pump. Learning a bunch of things about this. I've never actually had an XJ. I've always wanted one. At our old house, like that I grew up in, as a kid, our neighbor had a Jeep Cherokee Sport. It was black on black with the thing, and I loved it. Every time she'd show up, and I was like 8 years old, I was like, let me drive it, you know? and I've loved this body style. And again, I've been looking for something to go up in the hills with the family with, and 4-door RZRs are expensive and they don't have heaters, and you know, you can't close the windows and turn on the windshield wipers. So you might as well get this. So pretty stoked on it, but I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna swap the battery in it real quick. The gauge cluster stopped working too. You wanna look at this thing? Watch the gauge, well actually, let's put the battery in it. I'll show you the gauge cluster. I think it blew a fuse. So before we get started messing with this Jeep, I got a battery right here. Look at that battery. We got oil, we got filters, we got a distributor cap, rotor, spark plugs, and some other stuff. I want to let you guys know about a VIP only giveaway that we are actually doing for this month. As you know, last month we did the R35, which was a giveaway that was basically open to everybody, and our VIPs got double entries and some other stuff. The winner has been announced. We had a live stream, had some issues with it the other day. We basically, it wouldn't turn off. Like the live stream wouldn't turn off, so we had to delete it to get it to stop sending notifications to people to a black screen. But anyhow, the winner is Richard Daniel from Tampa, Florida, and he's gonna be out here next week to pick up the R35. But this month is our loaded toolbox giveaway. So this is a cart from Harbor Freight. These things are pretty nice. They're about 600 bucks. And we're actually gonna load this thing with about $2,000 worth of Tecton tools and Milwaukee tools as well. So all you gotta do is become a VIP. The link will be in the description. We have $10, $20, and $50 a month that all come with their separate perks. Click on the link, check it out. We're gonna get working on this Jeep. The battery has been on here so long, the lead has melted into the shape of the battery terminal. Oh, and it's twisting off right now. That's not good. Look at it. Oh, that's not good. They're not supposed to do that.
Definitely not.
That's a little sketchy too. Oh, what? Okay.
Oh, it's a lead cap.
It's a cap.
That's a little bit safer.
That makes, I thought like this thing was twisting off. I was like, this isn't very good. So I went ahead and I got the most expensive battery that I could get, which is, oh my gosh. Since this thing's gonna be going off-road, we got an AGM battery. It's getting jostled around on a trail. We don't want it like spilling its beans or its acid all over us or the trail or the whatever. I always try to, that's one thing I've learned is that, you know, try to get nicer batteries. All right, how much engine oil do you think it has in it? Survey says it's good. For the most part, it had a little bit of oil on the oil pan, like a little seep. So, you know, I went by the, if it's leaking oil,
it has
oil. So it definitely smells old. Like that smells like some old oil.
Oh, only one fuzzy.
Well, I mean, that's good. That's on the top. Let's see what the bottom looks like.
We're good.
Wow, actually, I thought there was gonna be like a nest in here, something else, but that actually looks pretty clean. Oh, do you hear that? Look at this door.
Wow.
Needs some hinges. Voltmeter, the RPM.
None of it works.
None of that stuff works. So we're gonna check the fuses. It worked when we were starting it because I kept watching the voltmeter, and then like obviously that's how I knew that it needed some fuel. So quick little way of testing your fuses. Just pull out a test light and just test both sides of the connector. They have like a little thing. So instead of like pulling them out and looking at every one of them, which I feel like most people, you know, but if you've never like used a test light before, maybe you didn't know that that's what you could do. So this one right here, this little 15 unit is popped. That was right there in the back center. So go to my handy dandy fuse box and get a freshie. Nothing.
Oh, look at those little books right there.
Yeah, Chelton.
That's crazy.
You know how nice it would be to be out in the middle of nowhere? You're like trying to Google something on your phone, but then you literally have like a Shelton manual right there. You're like, oh, like I can like thumb through the pages and see like potentially some diagnostic stuff. Like honestly, like that's actually would be nice. Look at that. It shows you how to change the rear oil. In the glove box, there's a brand new or seemingly, look at that NTK O2 sensor. The first thing that we noticed when they started this thing at the guy's house is that the O2 sensor was missing out of the front. So yesterday we just started it up real quick and I just put like a plug in there, you know, just so it would quit making a bunch of noise. But literally open the glove box, there we go. It looks basically a brand new O2 sensor. So we're gonna stick that in. So I just put in the O2 sensor, but then looking at this thing, it's like a skid plate and there's like some bolts that look like they're supposed to go right there? Like, do you think it's supposed to be like this, or is it like? Because there's obviously 2 bolt holes and 2 bolt holes, and then this thing kind of looks a little tilted. So does that mean that does it need those? Like,
look at how cockamamie that
yeah
transfer case is. Like, it looks like it's crooked.
Maybe they did a transfer case lowering mod. But look, it has these rock sliders attached to the unibody. Because I guess these things don't really have a frame. Look at that. It's literally like a unibody, and then this is just welded to the freaking unibody, which is kind of crazy. Like, I feel like it needs to be a little bit heavier duty, but oh my goodness, buddy. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Look at that.
Dude. You're... Oh my God. Look what you did. Trying to tell you to stop, and...
Everything's fine. So obviously the front shocks are blown. And it needs rebuilt again?
Nope.
Well, that looks a little better. Yeah. This whole thing was missing bolts and brackets, so I think what we're gonna do, it looks like it needed a little bit of a spacer. I'm gonna get this guy, you know, use the ratchet strap, because I think this is what you do if you own a Jeep, is you have to do stuff like this, right?
Already getting into the Jeep life.
I'm just a professional Jeeper. Depends on what we called, but you haven't answered. Well, I'm adding a little bit of fluid to the diff because it looked a little weepy, and if it, a little weepy over the course of 10 years, maybe not that much. But this thing, I'm pretty sure it's gonna eat a quart.
Empty.
I guess, but where did it all go? All right, so the diffs, the front took about a quart, the rear took about a quart and a half of fluid. We have oil in it. We checked the oil. We checked the coolant. It's got a fresh battery in it. We checked the fuses. The gauge cluster still doesn't work, but I want to go drive. Oh, we put bolts in there. So we're actually making some progress. This thing has a CB radio built in too. Check it out.
Sick.
CB?
Yeah, right there.
We can talk to the truckers. The radio is on right now. Nothing works still.
Damn.
Oh! Oh!
No way.
Look at that. I guess it's a Jeep thing, like I guess.
It sounds healthy.
So we didn't do anything with the plugs or the distributor. We were gonna see if we have any issues before we deal with that. Buddy, it has cold AC. That's getting cold now.
Wow.
See, that's one thing that you don't get in a 4-door Razor is AC. Well, actually, I think they have power steering. You don't have these windows that roll up. Look at that.
Okay, bye. Well, seatbelt's on. I like that Corbeau racing seat.
What is this? Is it like a locked diff in the front, or like?
Is the diff locked?
Doesn't that feel terrible?
Yeah.
Like the whole front end just wants to like fall out of it. Buddy, we're doing it. Oh
God! Okay, that's new.
What is that? I wonder if like one of the things. Here, get out and film as I drive around in a circle. So, because this is. The thing.
Damn.
It did the thing.
You didn't put any gas in it, did you?
It shows that it has like a half a tank, but
how old is that gas?
Well, I just was excited because it was driving down the road nice. Well, not nice, but we drove down here. Well, I guess we gotta walk back to the shop now.
Oh. Great Jetta. I wonder if this thing starts. Start it right up. Okay. This thing does not enjoy it.
I mean, that's kind of, I don't know, like not crazy erratic, but it's definitely a little erratic. Let me give her the beans. That's it.
That seems like the issue.
That's our problem right there. A fuel pump or the relay. So we'll start with the relay.
Now it won't even build pressure.
Full pump. All right, boys. So that is going to be it for this video. If you are stoked on the Jeep stuff, if you want to see me do some more stuff with it, this isn't supposed to be like a frame off restoration in the middle of my other frame off restorations. It was just supposed to be like a fun little toy that actually saves me a lot of money from trying to go out and buy like a razor. So I think this will be a lot of fun. I think it's pretty relatable, and I've always wanted one, so I think it all works really good. If you guys want to see a similar project, or would you call the C10 a similar project to this, the frame swap C10?
No.
What do we call this? Oh, actually, I used to have a Jeep way back in the day that we kind of bought, and it had I think it had like a 360 V8 in it. I'm gonna put that video right up here in this corner. Appreciate you guys watching. See you later.